Captain Vextar stood on the bridge of the Eternal Dominion, his forearms crossed behind his back as he watched the stars through the massive viewing screen. The ship was huge, almost 3 miles long, and carried enough firepower to destroy entire planets. It was the pride of the Zephyrian Empire, and Vextar had commanded it for over 20 years. The bridge was quiet except for the soft hum of machines and the occasional beep from the control panels. His crew worked at their stations, monitoring space around them as they patrolled the outer edges of known space. This was routine work, the kind of boring duty that most captains hated. But Vextar enjoyed the peace. After conquering 17 star systems, he appreciated the calm moments between battles. Lieutenant Commander Zixhai approached from the sensor station, her blue skin showing the slight color change that meant she was excited about something. Her large black eyes focused on the captain as she stopped beside his command chair. "Captain, we have detected something unusual," she said, her voice carrying the formal tone that all Zephyrian officers used when on duty. "Long-range sensors are showing an unknown object approximately 50,000 kilometers ahead of our current position." Vextar turned his attention to her, his own skin shifting to a deeper purple shade that showed interest. "What kind of object?" "Commander, it appears to be a spacecraft, sir. But the design does not match anything in our database. The ship seems to be drifting without power, but our sensors are picking up some kind of energy signature from within." The captain moved to the main display screen, where a 3-dimensional image of the mysterious vessel appeared. The ship was unlike anything he had ever seen. It was sleek and angular, with smooth lines that seemed to flow from one section to another. Most ships in the galaxy were built like boxes or cylinders, practical designs that focused on function over form. This ship looked like it had been crafted by artists who understood both beauty and efficiency. "How large is it?" Vextar asked, studying the image from different angles. "Approximately 800 meters in length, sir. Much smaller than our vessel, but the hull appears to be made from materials we cannot identify. The molecular structure is unlike anything in our records." Vextar felt a chill run through his body. The Zephyrian Empire had the most advanced technology in the known galaxy. Their scientists had studied materials from thousands of worlds, and their databases contained information about every type of metal, crystal, and composite material that existed. If their sensors could not identify what this ship was made from, it meant one of two things. Either they had found something completely new, or they had encountered technology that was more advanced than their own. "Any signs of life aboard the vessel?" he asked. Zixhai checked her readings again. "No life signs detected, Captain. But there are energy readings that suggest the ship's power core is still active." "The readings are strange, sir. The energy output appears to be much higher than should be possible for a ship of that size." The captain called up his communications officer. "Contact Admiral Kethmer immediately. Priority transmission." Within minutes, the image of Admiral Kethmer appeared on the main screen. The admiral was older than Vextar, with skin that had turned almost black with age and scars across his face from battles fought decades ago. He had commanded the Empire's forces during the conquest of the Outer Rim, and his reputation for tactical brilliance was known throughout Zephyrian space. "What is your report, Captain?" the admiral asked without delay. Vextar quickly explained the situation, showing the admiral the images of the mysterious ship. As he spoke, he watched the admiral's expression change from casual interest to serious concern. "You are certain your sensors cannot identify the materials?" Kethmer asked. "Confirmed, sir. Our most advanced scanning equipment cannot determine what the hull is constructed from. The energy signatures are also unlike anything we have encountered before." The admiral was quiet for several seconds, his dark eyes studying the image of the unknown vessel. Finally, he spoke. "Captain, you are to conduct a full investigation of this craft. I want to know where it came from, who built it, and what technology it contains. If there is another civilization out there with capabilities we do not understand, we need to know about it immediately. Understood, sir. Should I prepare a boarding party? Yes, but proceed with extreme caution. We do not know if this is a trap or if the ship contains any automated defenses. Take every precaution to protect your crew and your ship. The transmission ended, and Vextar turned back to his officers. The bridge had become more active as word of the discovery spread through the ship. Everyone wanted to see the mysterious vessel that had appeared from nowhere. Commander HFY, prepare a full sensor sweep of the area. I want to know if there are any other ships nearby, cloaked or otherwise. Also, check our long-range communications for any signals that might be coming from that direction. Yes, sir. And prepare a boarding party. I want our best technical specialists and a full security team. If we are going aboard that ship, we need to be ready for anything. As his crew worked to carry out his orders, Vextar continued to stare at the image of the unknown vessel. Something about it bothered him, though he could not say exactly what. The ship's design was too perfect, too advanced. It looked like something that should not exist, at least not in this part of the galaxy. The Zephyrian Empire had spent centuries mapping known space and cataloging every intelligent species they encountered. Most were primitive, barely able to travel between planets in their own solar systems. The few that had achieved faster-than-light travel were quickly conquered or made into tributary states. The Empire's technology was simply too advanced for anyone to challenge, but this ship suggested that somewhere out there was a civilization that had developed technology the Zephyrians did not understand. That possibility was both exciting and terrifying. New technology could make the Empire even more powerful, but it could also represent a threat to their dominance. Captain, HFY called from her station. The boarding party is ready, and we have completed our sensor sweep of the surrounding area. No other vessels detected, but we are picking up some interesting readings from the derelict ship itself. What kind of readings? The power core appears to be running at maximum efficiency, sir. Whatever technology they are using, it produces almost no waste energy. Our own power systems lose approximately 15% of their energy as heat and radiation. This ship seems to lose less than 1%. Vextar felt that chill again. 15% energy loss was considered excellent by Zephyrian standards. Their engineers had worked for decades to achieve that level of efficiency. If this unknown ship was operating at 99% efficiency, its builders understood energy systems far better than the Empire's best scientists. Prepare to move closer, he ordered, but keep our weapons ready and our shields at maximum power. We do not know what we are dealing with yet. The boarding shuttle moved slowly toward the mysterious ship, its engines barely making a sound in the vacuum of space. Commander HFY sat in the pilot's seat, her hands steady on the controls despite the nervous energy she felt building inside her chest. Behind her, the boarding team checked their equipment one final time. Technical specialist Norvek adjusted his scanning devices and data recorders. He had been with the Empire's exploration forces for 15 years and had analyzed technology from dozens of different worlds. His job was to understand how things worked, to figure out the secrets that other civilizations tried to hide. But as he looked at the sleek ship growing larger in front of them, he felt something he had never experienced before: fear. The hull design is remarkable, he said to HFY as they approached. Look at how the surface seems to flow from one section to another. There are no visible welds, no joint lines, no connection points. It appears to have been constructed as a single piece. HFY nodded, though she was more focused on the tactical situation. As the ship's security chief, her job was to keep the boarding party safe. She had brought 6 of her best soldiers, all armed with the latest Zephyrian weapons and wearing full battle armor. But something about this ship made her feel like their weapons might not be enough. I am detecting a docking port on the port side, she announced. The design is different from ours, but it appears to be compatible with our equipment. The shuttle connected to the unknown ship with a soft thud. The boarding team waited as the airlock synchronized and the atmosphere reading stabilized. Everything appeared normal, but HFY ordered her soldiers to keep their weapons ready anyway. The airlock opened, and the boarding party stepped into the corridor of the alien vessel. Immediately, they noticed that the walls were not like anything they had seen before. Instead of metal panels or composite materials, the corridor walls seemed to be made from something that looked almost alive. The surface had a subtle texture that reminded Norvek of organic tissue, but when he scanned it with his equipment, the reading showed it was definitely artificial. The lighting system is integrated into the walls themselves, Norvek observed, pointing his scanner at the ceiling. There are no visible light fixtures, but the entire corridor is evenly illuminated. The light seems to come from within the wall material itself. The team moved deeper into the ship, their footsteps making soft sounds on the deck plating. The corridors were designed for beings roughly their own size, but the proportions were slightly different. The ceilings were a bit lower, and the doorways were narrower. Whoever had built this ship was similar to the Zephyrians, but not identical. They entered what appeared to be the main control room. The bridge was unlike anything in the Zephyrian fleet. Instead of separate control stations with screens and buttons, the entire room seemed to be one integrated system. The walls displayed information in 3 dimensions, showing star charts, system diagnostics, and data streams that moved and shifted like living things. "This is impossible," HFY whispered, staring at the displays. "How can the walls themselves be computer screens?" Norvek was already running his scanners over every surface, trying to understand what he was seeing. "Commander, these are not screens in the traditional sense. The entire wall appears to be a single computational matrix. The ship's computer system is built into the structure itself." One of the soldiers called out from across the bridge, "Commander, I have found something you need to see." They gathered around a control panel that was still active despite the ship being abandoned. The display showed what appeared to be a navigation log, but the writing was in a language none of them recognized. The symbols were simple but arranged in patterns that suggested a complex mathematical system. "Can you translate it?" HFY asked. Norvek connected his equipment to the alien computer system, running translation programs that contained data from hundreds of known languages. After several minutes, he shook his head. "The language is completely unknown, but I am detecting patterns that suggest it might be related to some of the mathematical principles we discovered in the outer rim systems." As he worked, the computer system seemed to respond to his presence. New displays appeared, showing what looked like star charts and navigation data. The team watched in amazement as the alien system began to interface with Norvek's equipment, translating some of the basic information into forms they could understand. "Look at this," Norvek said, pointing to a 3-dimensional star map that had appeared in the center of the room. "These coordinates match star systems in our database, but they are showing routes and distances that would require faster-than-light travel speeds we cannot achieve." The map showed a route from the current location to a region of space that Zephyrian charts marked as Sector 7 Alpha. According to their records, that area contained only primitive worlds with no advanced civilizations. But the navigation data suggested that this ship had traveled from there to their current location in less than half the time it would take a Zephyrian vessel to make the same journey. "That is impossible," HFY said. "Our fastest ships would need at least 6 months to reach Sector 7 Alpha from here. This data suggests the journey took only 3 weeks. Norvek continued to analyze the navigation logs, his excitement growing with each new discovery. "Commander, I am finding references to multiple star systems in that sector. The data indicates regular travel between dozens of worlds, suggesting a civilization with extensive interstellar infrastructure. They moved to another section of the ship, finding what appeared to be crew quarters. The rooms were small but efficiently designed, with furniture that could be reconfigured for different purposes. Personal items were still scattered around, giving the team their first real clues about the beings who had operated this vessel. The aliens appeared to be bipedal, roughly the same size as Zephyrians, but with different proportions. Their hands had 5 fingers instead of 4, and their sleeping area suggested they were slightly shorter, but more broadly built. Most interesting were the personal devices they found, small rectangular objects that appeared to be some kind of communication or computing equipment. These devices are still functional, Norvek reported, examining one of the alien gadgets. The power source is completely unknown to our science, but it appears to be providing energy at a rate that should be impossible for something this small. As the team continued to explore, they found evidence of advanced technology throughout the ship. The environmental systems were more efficient than anything the Zephyrians had developed. The propulsion system used principles that their engineers had only theorized about. Even the basic materials used in construction were superior to the best the Empire could produce. "Commander," one of the soldiers called from the ship's engineering section. "You need to see this immediately." They gathered around what appeared to be the ship's main power core. It was smaller than the power systems on Zephyrian vessels, but the energy readings were off the charts. The core was producing more power than the engines on some of their warships, and it was doing so with remarkable efficiency. "This changes everything," Zixhai said quietly, staring at the impossible technology around them. "Whoever built this ship has capabilities that exceed our own by generations." Norvik nodded, his scanners recording every detail. "Commander, based on what we have discovered, I believe this vessel represents technology that is at least 50 years ahead of our current capabilities, possibly more." The boarding team continued their investigation, but with each new discovery, they felt a growing sense of unease. The Zephyrian Empire had conquered 17 star systems because they believed their technology was superior to everyone else's. But this ship proved that somewhere in the galaxy was a civilization that could make their most advanced vessels look primitive by comparison. As they prepared to return to their own ship, Zixhai looked back at the alien bridge one final time. The displays were still active, showing star charts and navigation data that suggested a vast network of advanced worlds. The question that worried her most was simple. If these beings were so advanced, why had they never heard of them before? The science laboratory aboard the Eternal Dominion had never been so busy. Technical specialist Norvek stood surrounded by screens and analysis equipment, all focused on the data they had collected from the mysterious ship. He had been working for 12 hours straight, and what he was discovering made him more nervous with each passing minute. Captain Vextar entered the laboratory, followed by Commander Zixhai and Chief Science Officer Dalmor. The captain's skin had turned a deep purple color that showed he was deeply concerned about something. In all his years of service, Norvek had rarely seen his commander look so worried. "What have you found?" Vextar asked without greeting. Norvek activated the main display screen, showing a 3-dimensional model of the alien ship's hull structure. "Captain, the materials used to construct this vessel are unlike anything in our database. The hull appears to be made from a self-repairing metamaterial that can adapt to different types of damage." "What does that mean?" Zixhai asked. "It means that if this ship were attacked, the hull could automatically repair itself during battle. Small holes would seal themselves within minutes. Larger damage would be fixed within hours. Our weapons might not be able to cause permanent damage to a vessel built with this technology." Chief Science Officer Dalmor stepped closer to examine the data. She was the smartest person on the ship, with degrees in physics, engineering, and xenobiology. Her job was to understand new technologies and figure out how the Empire could use them. But as she studied the readings, her skin began to change to the pale green color that showed fear. "Show me the propulsion analysis," she said quietly. Norvik switched to another display, showing the energy patterns they had detected from the ship's engines. "The propulsion system operates on principles we do not fully understand. It appears to manipulate space-time itself, creating a bubble around the ship that allows it to travel faster than light without experiencing the normal limitations." "How? Much faster?" Vextar asked. "Based on the navigation logs we recovered, this ship can travel at speeds that are at least 5 times faster than our most advanced vessels. Possibly more." The room fell silent as everyone absorbed this information. The Zephyrian Empire controlled 17 star systems because their ships were faster than anyone else's. They could move their fleets quickly between worlds, striking before their enemies could react. But if another civilization had ships that were 5 times faster, they could move their forces anywhere in the galaxy before the Zephyrians even knew they were coming. Dalmor activated another analysis screen. "What about the weapon systems?" "That is where things become truly concerning," Norvik replied. "The ship appears to be equipped with energy weapons that operate on quantum principles. Instead of firing projectiles or energy beams, these weapons seem to directly manipulate matter at the molecular level." "What kind of damage could weapons like that cause?" Norvik hesitated before answering. "Theoretically, they could disintegrate matter completely. A single shot could destroy our largest warships instantly. There would be no defense against weapons that operate at the quantum level." Captain Vextar felt his blood turn cold. The Zephyrian military was based on the idea that their technology was superior to everyone else's. Their ships were bigger, their weapons more powerful, their defenses stronger. But this alien vessel suggested that somewhere in the galaxy was a civilization that could destroy their entire fleet without breaking a sweat. "Run a deep scan analysis on all the materials and technologies we detected," he ordered. "I want to know everything about where this ship came from and who built it." For the next several hours, the science team worked to analyze every piece of data they had collected. They ran the hull materials through spectroscopic analysis, compared the energy signatures to their database of known technologies, and studied the navigation logs for clues about the ship's origin. Finally, Norvik called the senior officers back to the laboratory. His skin had turned almost white, which meant he was terrified of something. "What have you discovered?" Vextar demanded. "Captain, we have been able to trace the molecular signatures of the hull materials. The construction patterns, the metallurgical fingerprints, and the quantum resonance signatures all point to a specific origin point." He activated the main display, showing a star chart of the local galactic region. A red dot appeared in an area marked as Sector 7 Alpha. "The ship came from here," Norvik said, pointing to the red dot. "Specifically from the 3rd planet in the Sol system." Dalmor looked confused. "That cannot be correct. Sol system is inhabited by humans. Our intelligence reports indicate they are a primitive species that has barely achieved interplanetary travel." "I have checked and double-checked the analysis," Norvik replied. "The molecular signatures are definitive. This technology was manufactured in the Sol system." Vextar stared at the display in disbelief. "You are telling me that humans built this ship? That appears to be the only logical conclusion, sir." The captain immediately activated the communication system and contacted Admiral Kethmer. Within minutes, the Admiral's image appeared on the main screen, his expression showing impatience at being disturbed again. "Admiral, we have completed our analysis of the alien vessel," Vextar reported. "The results are disturbing. What have you found?" "Sir, the ship was built by humans." Admiral Kethmer's expression changed from impatience to confusion. "That is impossible, Captain. Humans are centuries behind us technologically. Our intelligence reports show they have crude weapons, primitive spacecraft, and no understanding of advanced physics. Nevertheless, sir, the evidence is clear. The molecular signatures and construction patterns all originate from the Sol system. This vessel represents technology that is far more advanced than our own capabilities. The Admiral was quiet for several long seconds, his dark eyes studying the data that Vextar was transmitting to him. Finally, he spoke in a voice that carried a note of worry. "Captain, if what you are telling me is correct, then either our intelligence about human capabilities is completely wrong, or something has happened that we do not understand. Either possibility is unacceptable. What are your orders, sir?" "Continue your analysis. I want to know everything about this technology and how the humans acquired it. In the meantime, I am calling an emergency meeting of the High Command. If humans possess technology this advanced, we need to reassess our entire strategy regarding their species." The transmission ended, leaving the bridge crew staring at each other in uncomfortable silence. For generations, the Zephyrian Empire had been the dominant power in their region of the galaxy. They had conquered world after world, confident in their technological superiority. But now they had discovered evidence that a species they considered primitive had technology that made their most advanced ships look like children's toys. Zix-Hai was the first to speak. "Captain, if humans have ships like this, why have they not used them against us? We have been monitoring their space for years, and we have never detected vessels with these capabilities." "That is an excellent question, Commander. And it terrifies me more than anything else we have discovered today." Dalmor looked up from her analysis equipment. "Captain, there is another possibility we have not considered." "What is that? What if this ship was not meant to be found? What if the humans wanted us to discover it?" The idea sent a chill through everyone in the room. If humans had deliberately allowed them to find this technology, it could mean only one thing. They were being sent a message. But whether that message was a warning or a threat remained to be seen. As the science team continued their analysis, one thing became clear. The Zephyrian Empire was no longer the most technologically advanced civilization in the galaxy. Somewhere in human space, there were beings who understood science and engineering far better than the Empire's best minds. And that realization changed everything. The High Command Chamber on the Zephyrian homeworld had never seen such chaos. Admiral Kethmer stood at the center of the massive circular room, surrounded by the most powerful military leaders in the Empire. The holographic display above them showed the images and data from the mysterious human ship, and every officer in the room was staring at it with expressions of disbelief and fear. Supreme. Chancellor Morgith sat in his elevated chair, his ancient skin almost black with age and concern. He had ruled the Empire for 40 years, leading it through countless wars and expansions. But in all that time, he had never faced a situation like this. His voice was quiet, but carried the weight of absolute authority when he spoke. "Explain to me again how our intelligence could be so wrong about human capabilities." General Quinder, the head of military intelligence, stepped forward. His skin had turned pale green, showing his embarrassment and fear. For 20 years, he had been responsible for gathering information about alien civilizations, and his reports had been the basis for all military planning. Now those reports appeared to be completely useless. "Supreme Chancellor, our intelligence operations in human space have been ongoing for 5 years. We have monitoring stations throughout their solar system, and we have intercepted thousands of their communications. All evidence suggested they were a primitive species with technology centuries behind our own." "What kind of evidence?" "Chancellor," Morgith demanded. "Their largest spacecraft are small vessels designed for cargo transport between planets. Their weapons are crude kinetic devices that fire solid projectiles. Their fastest ships take months to travel between worlds in their own solar system. Everything we observed indicated they had no understanding of advanced physics or engineering." Field Marshal Corvex, the Empire's top military strategist, stood up from his chair. His skin was turning red, which meant he was angry about something. "General, if humans have technology this advanced, how is it possible that none of our monitoring stations detected it?" "I do not know, sir. Either they have developed this technology very recently, or they have been hiding it from us with capabilities we did not know they possessed." Chancellor Morgith leaned forward in his chair. "Show me the intelligence reports about human military capabilities." General Quinder activated a holographic display that showed images of human spacecraft and weapons. The ships looked primitive, compared to Zephyrian vessels with simple designs and basic construction. The weapons appeared to be nothing more than advanced versions of ancient projectile systems. "According to our analysis, the largest human military vessel is approximately 200 meters long and carries weapons that could barely damage our smallest patrol craft. Their total military fleet consists of fewer than 50 ships, most of which are designed for defensive operations within their own solar system." Admiral Kefmer, who had been quietly studying the data, finally spoke. "General, if this intelligence is accurate, then how do you explain the ship that Captain Vextar discovered? That vessel has technology that exceeds our own capabilities by decades. There are several possibilities, sir. First, the humans may have recently acquired this technology from another source. Second, they may have developed it in secret using methods we do not understand. Third, the ship may not be human at all, but may belong to another species that is using human space as a base of operations." Chancellor Morgith considered these options carefully. Each possibility had serious implications for the Empire's future. "Plans, what is your assessment of the most likely scenario?" "Based on the evidence, I believe the humans have been deliberately concealing their true capabilities. The ship that was discovered shows signs of being deliberately abandoned where we would find it. This suggests they wanted us to know about their technology." Field Marshal Korvek stood up again, his skin now dark red with anger. "Are you suggesting that humans have been playing games with us? That they have been pretending to be primitive while secretly developing technology that could threaten our empire?" "That appears to be the most logical explanation, sir." The room fell silent as the military leaders absorbed this information. The idea that humans had been deceiving them for years was both humiliating and terrifying. If they could hide technology this advanced, what else might they be capable of? Admiral Kethmer activated another display, showing the strategic implications of the discovery. If humans possess ships with the capabilities we observed, they could move military forces anywhere in the galaxy faster than we could respond. Their weapons could destroy our largest vessels with single shots. Our current military strategy is based on technological superiority, but if humans have better technology, we would be at a severe disadvantage in any conflict. Chancellor Morgith turned to his chief science advisor, Dr. Zekthar, who had been quietly studying the technical data. "Doctor, what is your assessment of human technological capabilities based on this discovery?" Dr. Zekthar was an elderly scientist whose skin had turned almost white with age. He had spent his entire career studying alien technologies, and his expertise was respected throughout the Empire. When he spoke, his voice carried the weight of scientific authority. "Supreme Chancellor, the technology we observed represents advances in multiple fields simultaneously. The materials science alone is beyond our current understanding. The propulsion systems operate on principles we have only theorized about. The computer systems integrate organic and artificial components in ways we thought impossible. How long would it take our scientists to develop similar capabilities? Assuming we could understand the principles involved, which is not certain, it would take our best researchers at least 50 years to achieve similar results. Possibly longer." Field Marshal Korvex slammed his fist on the table. "We cannot wait 50 years. If humans have fleets of ships with this technology, they could invade our space at any time. We need to act now before they can use their advantages against us." "What do you recommend?" Chancellor Morgith asked. A preemptive strike against human space. We should deploy our entire fleet immediately and destroy their civilization before they can threaten us. It may be our only chance to maintain our position in the galaxy. Admiral Kefmer shook his head. Field Marshal, that strategy is based on the assumption that we understand human capabilities. If they have been hiding technology this advanced, we have no idea what other surprises they might have. Attacking them could be suicide. Then what do you suggest? That we do nothing while they prepare to invade our territory? I suggest we attempt to gather more intelligence about their true capabilities before making any military decisions. We need to understand what we are dealing with before we act. Chancellor Morgith listened to the debate between his military leaders, but his mind was focused on a larger question. For centuries, the Zephyrian Empire had expanded across the galaxy by conquering civilizations that were less advanced than their own. Their entire society was built on the idea that they were superior to other species. But now they had discovered a civilization that might be more advanced than they were. General Quinder, he said finally, I want you to deploy every intelligence asset we have in human space. I want to know everything about their military capabilities, their technology, and their intentions. Use whatever resources you need, but I want answers within 30 days. Yes, Supreme Chancellor. Admiral Kefmer, I want you to begin planning for multiple scenarios. Prepare contingency plans for both defensive and offensive operations against human forces. But do not take any action without my direct authorization. Understood, sir. Field Marshal Korvax, I want you to review our current military readiness. If humans do have superior technology, we need to know how our forces would perform in a conflict. Prepare detailed assessments of our strengths and weaknesses. As the meeting continued, one thing became clear to everyone in the room. The discovery of the human ship had changed everything. The Zephyrian Empire was no longer the undisputed master of their region of space. Somewhere out there was a civilization that might be more powerful than they were, and that realization would force them to reconsider everything they thought they knew about their place in the galaxy. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the Earth Defense Force vessel, New Horizon, watching the massive display screen that showed the movement of Zephyrian ships near human space. The alien fleet was acting strangely, moving in cautious patterns instead of their usual aggressive formations. Something had clearly spooked them, and Jake had a good idea what it was. Admiral Lisa Carter's image appeared on the communication screen, her expression serious but calm. She had been commanding human space defense for 8 years, and Jake had never seen her lose her composure, even in the most dangerous situations. Behind her, he could see the busy command center of Solar Command, where dozens of officers monitored alien activities throughout the galaxy. Captain Morrison, long-range sensors are detecting unusual Zephyrian fleet movements. Their ships are massing at the edge of our territory, but they are not advancing. Intelligence suggests they may have discovered something that has made them reconsider their invasion plans. Jake nodded, though he was not surprised by the news. Admiral, I assume this has something to do with the Pathfinder incident. That would be correct, Captain. Dr. Alex Thompson is here with me to brief you on the current situation. The image shifted to show Dr. Thompson, the head of the Human Technology Development Program. He was a tall man with graying hair and tired eyes, the kind of person who had spent years working on projects that most people would never know about. When he spoke, his voice carried the weight of someone who understood exactly how dangerous the galaxy could be. Captain, 3 weeks ago, we lost contact with the reconnaissance vessel Pathfinder during a covert mission in Zephyrian space. The ship was operating under full stealth protocols, gathering intelligence about enemy fleet movements and technological capabilities. What happened to the ship? Jake asked. The Pathfinder suffered a critical system failure while conducting surveillance operations. Commander Kate Sullivan was forced to abandon the vessel, but not before activating the data purge protocols. Unfortunately, the ship's stealth systems failed, and it appears the Zephyrians have now discovered it. Admiral Carter reappeared on the screen. "Captain, what Dr. Thompson is not telling you is that the Pathfinder was not just a reconnaissance vessel. It was a demonstration." Jake felt a chill run through his body. "What kind of demonstration?" "Admiral, for the past 3 years, we have been aware of Zephyrian plans to invade human space. Their intelligence operations in our solar system have been extensive, but we have been monitoring their activities from the beginning. We decided to let them believe we were a primitive species while we developed the technology necessary to defend ourselves." Dr. Thompson activated a holographic display that showed the technical specifications of the Pathfinder. The ship was built using our most advanced technology, but it was also designed to be discovered. We needed the Zephyrians to understand that their assumptions about human capabilities were wrong. "You mean we wanted them to find it?" Jake asked. "Exactly. The Pathfinder contains technology that is several generations ahead of what the Zephyrians possess, but it is not our most advanced equipment. We wanted to give them a preview of what they would be facing if they decided to attack us." "Admiral." Carter leaned forward on the screen. "Captain, the Zephyrian Empire has conquered 17 star systems because they believed their technology was superior to everyone else's. We needed to make them understand that attacking humanity would not be the easy victory they expected." Jake looked out at the stars, trying to process what he was hearing. "Admiral, if we have had this technology for years, why have we kept it secret? Why not reveal our capabilities and avoid a conflict altogether?" "Because, Captain, sometimes the threat of unknown power is more effective than the display of known power. If the Zephyrians knew exactly what we were capable of, they might develop countermeasures. But if they only know that we are more advanced than they thought, they have to assume we might have capabilities they cannot imagine." Dr. Thompson activated another display, showing the current status of human military forces. "Captain, the New Horizon is one of 50 vessels in the Earth Defense Force fleet. Each ship is equipped with technology that exceeds Zephyrian capabilities by at least 20 years. Our weapons can destroy their largest warships with single shots. Our defensive systems can withstand anything they can deploy against us. But the Zephyrians do not know that," Admiral Carter added. "All they know is that we have at least one ship with technology they cannot understand. They have no idea how many more ships we have, or what other capabilities we might possess." Jake studied the tactical displays that showed both human and Zephyrian fleet positions. "What are our current orders, Admiral?" "We are implementing Operation Revelation. All human vessels are to power up their quantum drives and prepare for deployment. We are not planning to attack, but we want the Zephyrians to detect our energy signatures. Let them know that we have a fleet they did not expect." Commander Kate Sullivan's image appeared on another screen. She had been rescued from the Pathfinder by a stealth extraction team, and now she was back at Solar Command helping to coordinate the operation. "Captain Morrison, I spent 2 years gathering intelligence about Zephyrian military capabilities. Their ships are impressive by galactic standards, but they use technology that we surpassed decades ago. In a direct confrontation, they would not stand a chance against our fleet. But we are hoping to avoid that confrontation," Admiral Carter said. "Our goal is to make the Zephyrians understand that attacking humanity would be a mistake. If they are intelligent, they will reconsider their invasion plans and seek a diplomatic solution instead." Dr. Thompson brought up another display showing human technological development over the past 50 years. "Captain, what the Zephyrians do not understand is that human technology advances at a rate that exceeds most other species. While they have been conquering primitive worlds, we have been developing innovations in material science, quantum physics, and computer systems that have revolutionized our capabilities." Jake looked at the data, amazed by what he was seeing. Dr. Thompson, how did we advance so quickly without other species noticing? We learned to be very careful about what we revealed to the outside galaxy. Our deep space exploration missions were disguised as primitive scientific expeditions. Our most advanced research was conducted in hidden facilities. And we made sure that any alien observers saw only what we wanted them to see. Admiral Carter's expression became more serious. Captain, within the next few hours, Zephyrian sensors will detect the energy signatures from our fleet. They will realize that we have dozens of ships with technology similar to what they found on the Pathfinder. The question is, how will they respond? What are our options if they decide to attack anyway? Jake asked. Captain, if the Zephyrians are foolish enough to attack us after this demonstration, we will show them exactly what human ingenuity can accomplish when our survival is at stake. But I am hoping they are intelligent enough to recognize that they have made a serious miscalculation about our species. Commander Sullivan activated the tactical display. Captain, we have been monitoring Zephyrian communications since they discovered the Pathfinder. Their leadership is in chaos. They are beginning to understand that their intelligence about us was completely wrong, and they are not sure how to respond. Admiral Carter stood up, her image filling the screen. All ships, this is Admiral Carter. Operation Revelation is now in effect. Power up your quantum drives and prepare for full deployment. Let the Zephyrians see what the human race is really capable of. Show them that we are not the primitive species they thought we were. Throughout human space, dozens of advanced warships began to activate their systems. The energy signatures were impossible to hide, and Jake knew that Zephyrian sensors would detect them within minutes. The question now was whether the alien empire would choose wisdom or pride in their response to this revelation. As Jake watched his own ship's systems come online, he felt a mixture of pride and concern. Humanity had successfully hidden their true capabilities for years, developing technology that could defend their worlds against any threat. But now that secret was revealed, and the next few hours would determine whether the galaxy would see peace or war.